Hello, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Sadiq, and welcome to this demonstration, this overview of our Landlord Vision cloud-based software. Just some housekeeping rules, please, for everybody. We'll have around about anywhere between 15 to 25 people on this call. If anybody has any questions or whatever to ask, then you can do so via the chat window. Can I please just politely request that everybody keeps themselves muted during this call. Again, if you need to communicate with me in any way whatsoever, then just use the chat window. Okay, thank you. Also, any questions that you have regarding Landlord Vision, again, pop them via the chat via the chat tool. I do have some questions already that I will answer as we go throughout, and also take questions at the end as well. Okay, right, let's get started then. As I mentioned, my name is Sadiq. I'm the founder, the chief designer of Landlord Vision, our cloud-based software. What I'll do first of all is I'll just give you a very, very brief background to Landlord Vision. I've just had a message come through from somebody that the screen looks strange. If anybody else has a strange screen, can you please let me know? There shouldn't be any problems at all whatsoever, because I'm just sharing my screen with you. So Sergey, I'm not too sure what problem you're experiencing there. Maybe you're logged in on a different device or something, but nobody else has reported the same problem. Okay, right. Okay, background to Landlord Vision. Landlord Vision is a product that we started developing back in 2012, okay, in January 2012. And it was really a case of, we have our desktop-based software solution. As people will be aware, it's called Landlord's Property Manager, which has been on the market for best part of eight years now, and that's a business that has flourished. 3 years ago, we decided that the market is inevitably going to move towards cloud-based software, so hence we started to develop this brand, Landlord Vision, and it's been in development since 2012. We actually officially launched the software in November 2013, and it was a very soft launch. And really, we spent 2014 basically starting to market Landlord Vision and build it as a business. And the primary goal of Landlord Vision is quite simple. It's to help landlords to better manage their property business anytime, anywhere, and on any internet-connected device. The major features of it are comprehensive property management, okay, which you would expect in any kind of property management software solution. It's got a very comprehensive and very flexible rent management solution as well, which I will touch on during this demonstration. We've developed an accounting engine in Landlord Vision as well, using best practice accounting principles. And again, I'll touch on this and show you some of the work that's gone in here, so you can get an idea as to the full scale of development that we have in this. It also has an integrated diary reminder system with a calendar as well. And it's got plenty of reports. Like any product that you have, any software tool that you have, it's only as good as the information that you enter into it. So we understand, we appreciate the need to enter good information, good quality information, and of course that then will then be used to generate useful reports that help you really to see exactly how your property business is performing. Okay, right, that's it with regards to slides. Let's switch to the demo. Those of you who are taking a trial at the moment, or who are using Landlord Vision, right on the left-hand side we have something called the Portfolio Dashboard. I'm going to skip this out for the meantime, okay, because this is really brings together all the information that you've been entering in Landlord Vision. So we'll cover this towards the end of the demonstration. So the very first thing that you're going to be doing when you start using Landlord Property Manager is to start creating properties. And down the left-hand side, what we have here are our major components. So we've got Property Manager, Finance Manager, which is for managing your mortgages and loans, Tenant Manager, Reports, our inbuilt early warning system. We also have a calendar module as well, which we'll touch on. And Landlord Vision is just more than a property management software tool. It also allows you to manage all your documents online as well. So it's an online document management tool as well, really bringing together your property management, your expense management, your rent management, along with all your document management as well into one tool. So if we go into Property Manager, the very first thing we would do is we would typically start creating properties. And when we click on properties, you can see a list of properties that have been created in your portfolio. Typically on all the screens that you see, when you go into the major component, you'll have a list. So within Property Manager, we have a list of all our properties. And what we can see here, for example, if we look at this very first property here, we can see the name, furnishing, and we can see that it's how many tenancies it has. Okay, so for example here, what we can see is we have a number of tenancies. So this has 5 tenancies, and what that means is basically that we have a multi-share property. So it could be a HMO, it could be a student let. Okay, so Landlord Vision caters for multi-let properties, and we will touch on this. So when we click on a property, what information are we typically entering? Well, Property Management serves 2 purposes, the module. One is to enter what I refer to as your static data, which is data that's going to basically remain the same throughout. Isn't going to change frequently, basically. And then we have what we call our expense management module, which is all about tracking all our property-related expenditures. So we're looking at a property now. We've gone into the property details, and we've got a number of tabs here, which I'll quickly work through. So this is the typical information you will set up when you set up your property. You have main information. This is quite simple, straightforward, really. One of the key things you can do here is enter what we call a target rent. And that's really useful because whenever you come to create a tenancy, it will automatically populate your target rent. But what it will also do is it will also produce a report that allows you then to analyze how well your rents are performing in relation to your target rents. So for example, it will show you how many of your properties are above target rents, how many are below, how many are reaching, etc. So it's really useful to have this populated. Rooms, the next tab is called rooms, so you can create any number of rooms in the property. And this is particularly useful if you have any HMOs or multi-lets. Okay, so for example here we have a property that's got a number of rooms in here, and what we can see here is that rooms have actually got tenancies assigned to them. So we can see here that it's actually been occupied and what the rent is being generated for each room. Very simple. All we would do is add a room, enter the room name, select the type of room that it's going to be. It could be a bedroom, it could be a multi-share room, and this flag here you tick, which is called is the room habitable. Once you tick this flag, what you're basically saying is that this room is one that can be lived out of. So when you come to create a tenancy and you choose this property, it will then also pop up the option for you to choose that room that you can sign the tenant to as well. So like we have in this sample property here, we've got a number of rooms, and we can see here room 1 to room 4 are occupied. Okay, and room 5 is actually vacant at the moment. Property Essentials. Property Essentials tab really is a place for you to build up all the essential information that a tenant needs to know when they move into a property. So for example here, what we've got here are emergency stop taps. You're setting up these stop taps, entering information about them, and they will print on a report called the Tenant Welcome Pack report, which I'll show you later on. A really handy report, a really powerful report that just at the touch of a button gives the tenant everything that they need to know regarding the property. Bins, okay, when the age of recycling, bins get collected on different days, and again you can set up your bins, specify what days they're collected, and then again this will also then print on the Tenant Welcome Pack report for the tenant. Alarm codes, okay, again something that the tenant would need to know. You can populate the information here, and literally we would just click on edit. We can edit an existing one. Okay, so we could put some additional detail here. For example, press the set button. And then press enter. Okay, we press save. You can see how it updates. The description is then changed, and that would then of course then print on the Tenant Welcome Pack. And then we have a section here called other features. This is where you can literally build up any other features that you want your tenant to know about your property. Okay, this is a user query, for example, where they had a shared building that had a porter, so they wanted the details of the porter to appear on the Tenant Welcome Pack as well. Very, very simple to do. Just click Add Property Feature. You can even add your own descriptions here to add other feature types and populate them, and away you go. Utility suppliers. Again, you're typically going to set these up once. You set them up in Landlord Vision, and they will then print on your Tenant Welcome Pack report as well. Okay, letting your tenants know who supplies the gas, the electricity, the water, etc., and it will automatically pull through the contact number for them as well. Safety certificates. Any safety certificates you have for your property, be a gas safety certificate, an EPC, any other insurance policies you may have. For example, you could have covered on your property for drains or electrics or plumbing or central heating, etc. Again, pop them into here, and these actually also have what we call warning notifications. So if we look at the gas certificate here, for example, we actually had a date here, an expiry date of 20. Well, let's put 2015 actually, because 2015. Okay, so what would happen, and you can also then upload the certificate and attach it here as well. You would then be notified in the early warning system on the dashboard when this is about to expire. The Tenancies tab just gives you a view of all the tenants who have lived in the property, what they're paying. So as you can see here, currently we have 5 tenancies. They've had different start dates and different. Well, they're currently all active as well. So that'll basically give you a list of all the tenancies and what they've always paid historically in your property as well. And you can see the tabs here where you can have expired tenancies, and you could even plan future tenancies as well. So you can even use Landlord Vision for short-term lets as well. So if you have short-term lets, moving people in, planning when people are going to be moving in, etc., into rooms or properties, etc., you've got that flexibility here as well. The outstanding tasks is a place where you can basically create tasks and assign them to contractors to contacts for any work that needs doing on a property. It could be anything. You can assign priorities to it, and that will then also show on your dashboard, and it will remain there until it's actually been signed off by you or closed by you. The gallery. Gallery is where you can upload pictures. Now you can use the gallery to whatever extent you want. Some people use it for just having one picture of the property. Other people will have it to hold all their marketing pictures of the properties, as we have here, for example. Other people will go one step further and use it for inventory management as well. So where they can have pictures of items, etc., in the property. So you can do a before and after comparison as well. And what you can do is you can upload the pictures, and then you can just literally just scroll through. Our plan here is we will be developing, hopefully second half of this year, the option where just by the touch of a button you'll be able to advertise your properties online and choose which photographs you want to be uploaded to all the portals as well. So we have the basics here in place, and then that's an enhancement that will hopefully come in the coming months. Property documents. This is where you can upload any number of documents and assign them to the property. So, for example, you may have had a valuation done. You could have had a solicitor's letter that's been issued. You could any document you have whatsoever, you can upload and store it, and you can create your own directory structure as well online, which I'll show you towards the end of the demo as well. Property valuations, useful feature for you to add valuations in to monitor how your portfolio is growing. And the important thing about valuations is, let's say, for example, you have a property that you've owned for a number of years. You could have bought it 10 years ago. Well, the valuation is likely to be very different to what it was when you purchased it. So when you come to running reports to see what your portfolio is worth, what your net worth is, it will then use the latest valuations rather than what you bought a property for as well. So it's really handy to have maybe update the valuations once a year, so you've got an accurate analysis reporting view of what your portfolio is worth. Finally, under Property Manager, we have what we call Key Management. Key Management is a module that allows you to manage the keys in a property. So typically, this is something that will get used by people who have larger portfolios. They may have an admin office. They may have a number of keys for properties, and you can then check in and check out keys as they're given to tenants, as they're given to contractors, etc., so on and so forth. So you can manage all that within Landlord Vision. So what we've quickly just gone through here is all the, and again I go back to the word static data that you've entered in Landlord Vision is unlikely to change on a regular basis, okay, and once it's set up, your property is basically created. Now the minimum amount of information you need to enter to create a property, if you go back to the main information tab here, is literally your property name, the furnishing type, and that's basically it. Then your property is created. So give the property a name, the type it is it detached, semi-detached, etc. Is it fully furnished or not? Then that's it. The rest of the data you could then add at a later date if you wanted. The next major component we have in Property Manager is all about managing expenses. Now, for those people who have used desktop management software, Landlord's Property Manager, one of the shortcomings of that was that it didn't have a comprehensive accounting engine. So we have spent an incredible amount of time now actually building an accounting engine into this, into Landlord Vision. So for example, what you can now do is you can create expenses, and we have incredible flexibility now as well. Let's say, for example, we're creating an expense, and we can say it's going to be with British Gas. Ivana, we are recording this, so yes, I should be able to record, upload the demo later as well. Right, let's have a look. So we can put a date in. Let's give it a reference. Say this one, for example. Now, we could say a cost is going to be for the entire portfolio, so it's not for a particular property. We tick this flag, and it takes away the property option. If we say it is for a property, we can then choose a property. So this cost is going to relate to that property. And if that property has rooms allocated that tenants are living out of, we can then even go a step further and assign it to an individual room as well. Then we have a number of flags here. Is it an item cost? What type of cost? Is it service cost? Is it buying and selling? Is it a furnishing or renewal cost? So let's say, for example, we have a cost here. Now, what we have done is we've already preloaded quite a number of items that landlords will, or expenditures should we say, that landlords will typically incur. Okay. I did say from the outset that this is cloud-based landlord software, so it's software that works in the cloud. So let's put property repair. Let's put this in as a general property expense. We can even change the description further. Say property repair to the boiler. Okay, so we're adding an expense into Landlord Vision now. Okay, so we press save. Okay, that expense has now been created. Okay, we can then add the payment. Well, let's go back to our payment screen. And we can see here a list of all this is a list of all the payments. We can see here ones that are awaiting payment. Okay. So for example, the one that we've added just here now is here. It's not showing in red yet because the payment date hasn't passed. We could then choose this and say we're going to add a payment to it. And we can say when it's been paid, we can choose today's date. How has it been paid? It's been paid by a debit card. And debit card was assigned to this bank account. Or we can give it a reference. Press save. Okay, that's then paid for us. So that would then move into our fully paid section. What you can also do in Landlord Vision is create what we call repeating expenses. So let's say, for example, you have some policies that you're paying on a monthly basis. It could be insurance policy, could be a maintenance policy, whatever it is. You can set up these as repeating payments. And what that means is that each month it will just keep on creating itself as a payment, and you can go one step further and actually even say that it's going to be automatically paid every month as well. So it takes out the whole hassle of creating monthly payments and setting them to pay and entering the payment details as well. They automatically get set to be paid as well for you as well. Okay, Finance Manager. Finance Manager is for managing your mortgages and loans. Again, a lot of work has gone into this where you're actually able to set up your a lot of effort has gone into it, into having a flexible solution here where you can actually manage your mortgages and loans. So we can look at here at a typical mortgage or loan that's been set up. You're entering information like who provides the mortgage loan, when it started, what the loan amount is, what the interest rate is, so on and so forth. You can then even make changes to the loan, and you have a history of changes that you would have typically made to the loan. It then automatically also creates for you what we call a payment schedule. So the payment schedule is showing you typically what is due. It calculates how much capital is being paid off, what the interest amount is that's being charged, and then you can just enter your payments as and when you receive them as well. The other thing that we've added as well is the option to add what we call fees and charges. So let's say, for example, you took out a further advance on the mortgage, or you had another cost that was incurred for that mortgage. You can then add it onto the loan, however you want to cater for it as well. This is a as I said, it's a comprehensive module that this finance module is just around purely around management of mortgages and loans. Now let's get to the heartbeat of your property business, which is tenant management. Okay, so this module here is all about managing your tenants and tenancies and tracking all your rents. So if we click on tenants, what you will see here typically is a list of all your tenants. So similar to Property Manager, we clicked on properties, you can see all your properties. We clicked on Finance Manager, you can see all your mortgage and loans. We click on Tenant Manager, first of all you see all your tenants. And you can see a number of tenants that have been set up here. Oh, by the way, at the top of each screen as well, you have what we call statuses. So you can filter on statuses or any other of these fields as well, just to further refine the list that you have showing. So let's look at a tenant. What we're typically holding, what data we're capturing for a tenant. We're capturing things like the name, of course, the address, the occupation. Actually, let me just go to I think Allen Roundhill. It's a better example. Yeah. Okay. So on the main information tab here, we're capturing the primary details. You can capture the occupation details as well, IDs and addresses that you will typically have taken before they signed up to the property. Any referees and contacts that you contacted regarding the property. Tenant journal, a really useful tab, because what you can do here is you're recording every piece of communication that you have with your tenant, and it gets logged here in the tenant journal. So let's say, for example, you had, as we see here, we had a property visit. We had another property visit. We sent an email. We sent a letter. We sent a telephone call. So each time you correspond with the tenant regarding any matter whatsoever, you can basically log it here, and it then keeps a log of everything for you. And we also then have a report as well that prints this log. You can have file attachments here as well. So when we go to property visit, okay, we can click on edit, and then we can click on attach, and we can then upload attachments to it as well. So this really brings together all your communications for the tenant. And again, you're recording how you communicated with them. Was it a telephone call? Was it a letter? Was it an email? This final tab here, tenant documents, is where you're uploading, similar to property documents, you're uploading all your tenant documents. So any documents, for example, you may have signed an AST. You've generated the AST from Landlord Vision. You've then printed it off. You've signed it. You've scanned it in, and you then attach it to the tenant. It's then stored there. Right, I'm just making a note of some of the questions as they come through. Okay, so once you created a tenant, the next thing then is to create a tenancy, which is as you're fully aware, is where you're creating the tenant and property relationship. Okay, so when we have a tenancy, okay, we can click on an example tenancy we have here. What we're entering the type of an AST, when the tenancy starts, when it ends, how much is being paid, who the tenant is, and then what we have here is now we have here what we call a payments. Let me just go into edit mode. Now, what you then do is you then basically build up what we call your payment schedule. Now, in the vast majority of cases, it will be quite straightforward. It will be a 6-month AST. Somebody's paying you X number of pounds each month, and that's it. And it's going to be for 6 months, okay, initially. And then what you can then also do is you have what we call a rolling tenancy flag. So if it's then going to go onto a standard monthly rolling tenancy, just tick the flag, and it will then just automatically keep on extending itself each month. Again, saving you the hassle of going in and extending it. Keeps on extending it each month until you decide that until the tenancy ends. You then just take the flag off and then end the tenancy. And there's a lot of flexibility with Landlord Vision. We've developed it so that it caters for any kind of scenario that you have, regardless of how you're collecting rents. So, for example, you could have somebody paying weekly, monthly. You could have somebody taking out a tenancy and paying just for a small number of days first. So we have some landlords who, for example, always have a billing date, a rent collection date of the first of the month or the last day of the month. Okay, first day of the month is good because normally people get paid at the end of the month. So by having it on the first day of the month, you're pretty much nailed on to make sure you're pretty certain to be guaranteed getting your rent, as that's when people's salaries are typically paid. So however you want to set up a payment schedule, you can do here just by adding these add buttons and building up a payment schedule as you see fit. Other things as well, you can cater letting agents. So if you have letting agents who are managing your property for you, tick this flag, and you can then enter the commissions. Is it a monthly commission? Is it a one-off commission? And on the flip side there as well, you've actually got, you can see here tabs here called agent fees. You actually ultimately end up mirroring exactly what your letting agent is collecting for you as well. So when they do the bank transfer to you of however much they're paying to you, and whenever they pay to you, that is all fully logged in Landlord Vision and will mirror exactly what your letting agent has paid to you. The other things as well that you're entering with the tenancy guarantor details, deposit scheme, meter readings, check-in check-out list, and this is the legal these are the legal documents that are available as part of our premium package. So you have an AST that will be automatically generated. If I press the button here to generate the AST, it picks up the data, and away you go. There's the AST, ready for you basically to be printed and signed. So once you've created your tenancy, if you go back to the main details screen here, it creates for us what we call a payment schedule. So this is, in a nutshell, is forecasting for you. It's telling you, based on your tenancy settings, this is how much income you're going to be receiving, what rents you're going to be receiving, and when you're going to be receiving them. So this is quite an old tenancy. It started way back in 2013. Okay, so we can see here rents have always been paid pretty much on time. But as we get down here now, we can see here that there are some arrears that are built up. How do we know that? Because they're showing in red. So £200, £800, £800 arrears. And we can see that these are the remaining rents that are due to be paid as part of this contract. Okay, and if you scroll to the bottom of the screen as well, you can fully see a full summary of the tenancy. So how much has been, what the tenancy is worth to you, how much has been invoiced. These are the invoices that have been created. So these are the ones that are still waiting to be created, and they're basically what will be paid off when the rent comes in. How much has been paid and what's outstanding. So if we wanted to make a payment, for example, we'd click on the Payments tab, add a payment, and we just choose a tenant name or start typing it in. And once we enter the name, it automatically brings up what that tenant owes you. So we can see here this tenant actually owes us £1,800, and these are the invoices that are outstanding. So what we could say is, let's say for example, right, the tenant has actually paid off everything now, so everything's been paid off. Now note, when I enter the amount of £1,800, it will automatically allocate it to the invoices. And what it does is it backfills. So we'll look at the oldest invoice, and we'll first of all pay off that. So we can see here that this invoice, £800 was due, £600 has already been paid, but £200 remains outstanding, so it pays off that £200 first. And then it pays off the 800, then it pays off the 800. If I was to change this amount to, say, for example, 500, it will then say, right, £200, so let's pay off the oldest invoice first, and the next £300 will be allocated to the next oldest invoice. But what we can see is, we'll say that the whole amount has been paid off. It's been paid by bank transfer and it's come into our bank account. Okay, we can tick this flag here. So this then gives you the option then to control or to manage what date the actual payment was made. If we press save, it's paid. We go to the payment schedule, and what you can now see is now that there are no longer any red lines showing. Everything basically is up to date. There's nothing outstanding that's been invoiced. Okay, I'm just going to quickly just briefly talk about these tabs here. In agent fees, this is where you have if you have a property managed by a letting agent, you can then set up agent fees, even ad hoc agent fees as well, to make sure that everything mirrors, as I mentioned, what the letting agent has collected and what they've ultimately paid to you. Payments, what I just showed you then, which is where you can go into the screen whenever you want to make payments for your rents. Mail merge. This is a section where you can actually upload your own documents. So let's say, for example, you're not too keen on the law pack tenancy agreement. You want to upload your own. You can basically import your own tenancy agreement. You have a whole list of merge fields that you can basically enter into your documents, and then away you go. You can then create them for tenant A or multiple tenants or contacts. Reports. Okay, we have a whole raft of reports in Landlord Vision. I'll just quickly show you some of them. Occupancy overview. This is very useful, especially for larger portfolio owners. It gives you a graphical snapshot of which properties are occupied, which properties are empty. As we then scroll forward, you can then start seeing when properties become available. I mentioned the tenant welcome pack. Incredibly useful report. If I show you this for the property I was demonstrating, so this is showing you your landlord details, so how they can get hold of you, the property details, the property that they're with, the tenancy, the terms of the tenancy, and then it's showing you your safety certificates, okay, deposit details. I showed you the emergency stops that have been added. It's showing you where they are. It's showing the alarm codes, refuse bins, and any other features that we added. Car parking, for example. You've got permit spaces. You've got a portal allocated. And all these reports can be downloaded and exported to Microsoft Excel. We also have reports here to look at your payment history, the tenant journal I mentioned, overdue rents as well, deposit status. So you've got a number of deposits that are protected. It gives you a status of where the deposit is, who it's with, how much has been returned, how much has been kept by you. Let's look at some of the finance reports. We have a profit and loss report. This will run for any period, or even for the property, or for your entire portfolio. Or again, even if that property has rooms, you can even then run it at room level as well. So you can even see the spend, the profitability per room. We'll run it for the entire portfolio. By default, again, you can control the dates that you want to. It'll show you a summary, which we can see here. We can then just click on this to show the detail, or we can just say run the report and show us all the details. This is then showing you all the income that's been received, all the descriptions, all the expenditures. Okay, you can then export that. The tax report, this is available with the premium package. Okay, this does the number crunching for your residential portfolio using HMRC's guidelines. So if I run this for the previous tax year that we've just all completed now, hopefully submitted by the end of by the 31st of Jan. This is for my own portfolio. This is what I did. I just basically printed off this report. This is showing me all the income that's been generated, and then using HMRC's the self-assessment check, the form, the box numbers, basically allocating all the income, all the expenditures to all the relevant boxes. And every single transaction is displayed on this report. And then it gives you then basically at the bottom here a summary as well as to what your profitability has been for your portfolio. You can run it at just an overview level. This will just give you the numbers for the boxes. So this is what basically goes on your self-assessment, land and property self-assessment tax return form. I'm just conscious of time, and there's quite a few questions that have come in as well, so I'll skip through. Calendar. Landlord Vision has an integrated calendar as well. And what we have here is a calendar view, so all the reminders that we've set up in Landlord Vision, for example, the tenancies are going to be expiring, there's a mortgage payment that's due, they're all color-coded. So when safety certificates are expiring, for example, they're all color-coded and they show on your calendar. You can then just scroll forward, and this calendar can be exported to Google, and it can be integrated with Outlook as well. You can see we have the export option here where you can export the calendar. So here you can export it to Google or Microsoft Outlook. We talked about tasks before, so this is our task management section where you can create tasks, assign them to contractors or people, and then you can basically track them all here as well. We also have what we call an agenda view as well. So this is just the same. No, we can't work with an iCal. I'll cover off user access. Okay, document manager. Document manager is for uploading documents, and we've touched on this before as well. But what we have here is we basically have folders that you can create. So you can create folders, and you can then upload your documents into the relevant folders as well. And you can see how many documents are in each folder. So everything basically is stored online. I just want to show you settings. Now, one thing that there's no restriction to the number of portfolios you can create. You can create as many portfolios as you want. Tenancy, under settings, we've got this tab called tenancies. You can actually configure and speed up your tenancy creation process. For example, you can say all my tenancies are type AST. They're going to automatically have 6 months, so the date will automatically be calculated. They're managed by a letting agent. So you have settings basically underneath behind the scenes that you can set. We also have a traffic warning system as well. So you can say, let's say for example, a rent is more than a day late. You can say I'll flag that as amber. If it becomes more than 1 month late or 1 day late, or sorry, a month late, for example, we'll flag it as red. So so it'll then show with the red traffic light. You can upload documents here, document headers, so they will then go into the reports. Portfolio dashboard. I need to come back to this because the portfolio dashboard basically shows you a whole raft of information. You can configure here what you want to see on the dashboard. Chart of accounts. This is where, as I mentioned in the overview, a huge amount of time and effort has been put into developing an accounting engine. So what you have here is your accounts basically, accounts that are created. Now again, we've created your basic accounts for you, so that all landlords will have. So for example, you have things like deposits accounts, fixed assets, fees that you're incurring. Okay, you can see how much spend there has been with each account as well. You can create bank accounts. Okay, you can create credit. So when you're making payments or when you're receiving income, you can assign them to the accounts that they come out of. You can create credit accounts, credit cards as well. So basically everything's there. On this tab here, we have what we call income and expense items. So this is all the list of items that you're going to basically incur for a landlord. So for example, you've got here a list of all the typical expenditure that a landlord's going to incur. And that's not to say you can't create your own as well. You can create your own, accounts, you can create your own items. And again, you can see here how much has been spent per item as well. Users. I know a couple of people have asked the question as well. You do have user access control in that you can have, based on the plans, you can have a single user, or you have 3 users, or you have up to 5 users. On the premium package, it goes one step further where you can actually control the access that somebody has as well. So let's say, for example, you wanted to edit the access for the user. You can say, what we'll do is, this person's got access to this. They can see property manager, they can't see the reports, any of the reports. So if they do see the reports, you can control which reports they can see. They can access the calendar, so on and so forth. You can control at screen level and what a user has access to. I'm just going to switch back to the portfolio to show you the dashboard just to finish off. The dashboard was the first thing that showed. So once your data has been built up, the dashboard is typically the first screen you will see when you start the software. Okay, you have property occupancy overview. So this is showing you here the occupancy of your portfolio. So you can see, for example, 6 properties are occupied, 3 are empty. Room occupancy. Okay, room occupancy. So for where you have HMO, multi-let properties, you can see that here. You can see how much income has been generated. Here we can see tasks that are outstanding. payments that are overdue, so rents that are overdue. You can see here they've got a red traffic light assigned to them. Expenses that you need to pay that are overdue as well. Mortgages and loans that are due to be paid. So you have a whole list here of everything that a landlord basically needs to be dealing with. Is basically here for you to see, and you can configure what you can see as well. Right, that in a nutshell is a quick overview of Landlord Vision. I'm going to go through some of the questions now, but before I do, just to tell you about the structure of Landlord Vision. So basically, we have what we call a free plan. Now, Landlord Vision works based on number of tenancies. So it's how many tenancies you have, how many active tenancies you have. So if you have up to 3 active tenancies, it's free for you to use. Okay, you have what we call the free subscription plan. The things that aren't available to you are the legal document center, the key management, the tax manager, and the accessing the user access control, i.e. controlling what user has access to its screens. Then we have the standard plan, which is this price, and they just don't have the mail merge, the tax module, or the access control. Then we have the premium plan for people who have up to 50 tenancies, and they have everything. Now you can add on additional tenancies as well in packs of 50 at these prices. Now, just to go through some of the questions that we've had. Importing of bank statements. Very good question, and I noticed that was asked by a number of people. We're currently working on developing this. We envisage it will be ready by the end of March, end of April at the latest. So that's an enhancement that we've started working on, where you will be able to export your bank statement into a CSV, into an Excel file, and then basically upload that into Landlord Vision. The way it will work is it will look at your payment schedule basically, and it will marry up your rents against your payment schedules and set them to be paid, and invoices it will either create them automatically or make them paid as well. So that's something we're working on at the moment, and we hope it will be available as I mentioned. Probably best to go with the end of April at the latest. Okay, so that was asked by a few people. Can we manage commercial property? No, we can't. This is for residential properties. So it hasn't got any VAT element built into it. The only VAT element that it has is for letting agency fees, and that's it. So it's not designed for commercial property. It is for residential landlords, and we don't have any plans. We have a huge list of developments that we want to make to Landlord Vision, and commercial property is probably quite a way down the line, to be honest. So hence we don't say it's available. User access control, we talked about that. I've already covered that off, where you can, with the premium package, you can control what access users have to each of the different screens. Can you import data? You can import data. Now, if I go back to Landlord Vision, if you go back to portfolios, so we can create any number of portfolios we want. You can import data. Now, this is what it allows you to do is to import enough data so you can create a basic property and create a tenancy. And this is what we've made available to our Landlord's Property Manager users, users of our desktop software. You can basically import your tenancy data into Landlord Vision. So basically it creates all your tenancies for you, and you're up and running in Landlord Vision. And I can just quickly show you this. So what it will do is you'll be able to download the template. We can open this in Microsoft Excel, and you just populate here a reference for the property, the type of property, furnishing, address, and the tenancy details, tenancy type, when it started, when it ended. Okay, so you can basically manually populate this spreadsheet, or if you already got a spreadsheet, just copy the details into here, and then you just import this into Landlord Vision, and all your tenancies are basically created. So user access, does it integrate with an accounting package? This will ultimately it will integrate with Xero. That's our plan. Those who are familiar with Xero will have noticed that when I was going through the chart of accounts, or when I was going through creating expenses, it looked very similar to Xero. So you will be able to see. Yes, we did show a profit and loss. I'll just quickly show you the profit and loss. Again, this was the report, the P&L. Okay, we can show the details. Okay. The best thing for people, I'm assuming, everybody who's on this webinar has registered for a trial. So either you are trialing it or you're about to trial it. What I would encourage people is basically is just to make use of the trial. You can, when you start a trial, you have a button in the top left-hand corner, which is called Demo Database, and that creates a demo database for you with some of our using our template data. So you actually have a demo database there that you can play around with for 30 days before it gets deleted. So you can see exactly how Landlord Vision is set up. And the terms and conditions are available online. There's no need for me to email them. No need for us to email them to anybody. They're available here under T&Cs. Basically, Landlord Vision is is a pay-as-you-go service. So you pay monthly. You have access for a month. You can also pay annually as well and get further discounts, and you have access for the year. After that, as long as you pay, you get access to Landlord Vision, basically. What about inspection and checklists? I touched on this. We have under tenancies. If you go to a tenancy, for example, we have here check-in and check-out lists. So we have a list of check-in list here that you can edit. So you can edit this list whenever the tenant moves in. You can say, I want to edit this. So this is when the tenant checked in. Yes, we gave them an AST. Yes, the inventory was carried out. And you similarly have a checkout list as well at the same time as well. What about data retrieval? Okay, it's a good question. What about data retrieval if Landlord Vision ceases to exist? Okay, well, hopefully that's not going to happen. Okay, we've got a number of businesses now that we've been around for 10 years in our various guises, and all we see each year is growth, and growth. And Landlord Vision is really a major project for us. If the worst came to the worst, and we weren't able to continue operating for whatever reason whatsoever, then we would just basically open up the. I guess we would get bought by somebody, or we would just make the software freely available for people to basically access and use. So you would basically be able to carry on using the software. It's for tenancies. I did reiterate this, that this isn't based on number of properties. Landlord Vision is based on number of tenancies. Okay, so let's say, for example, if you're a user, and you have a HMO or a multi-let with 3 properties that have 5 tenancies each, then you have basically 15 tenancies that you'll be managing in Landlord Vision. So it's purely based on tenancies. It's not based on properties. No, the data cannot be backed up locally. Data's backed up to our servers. We do have plans that you will be able to export data. Currently, you can export data via the reports, but we will have an option in the future where you'll be able to, for example, export your property details, export your tenancy details, export other data as well. What data can be downloaded now? What I would suggest is look at the reports. Each of the reports that you run under here, all that data can be downloaded. So if we go to reports, you can see here all these reports here, each report, the data out of that report can be downloaded to Microsoft Excel. Okay, right. Just conscious of time. This was due to finish at 2:40. We've had a really well attended webinar. Again, what I would stress is start using Landlord Vision. Start playing with it. What percentage of uptime, downtime do we have? We've been operating now for 14, 15 months. And we haven't had any downtime whatsoever, apart from anything that we planned, which was we had an update 2 or 3 months ago. Let's say last month, where the system was down for 45 minutes, but it was down on a Saturday night for maintenance, which you have with any kind of software. But we have had zero downtime since we've been running, since Landlord Vision has been live since 2013. Okay, so right, just to say thank you to everybody. Again, use Landlord Vision, try it. Any questions? We've got a ticketing system built into Landlord Vision. Gosh, I could go on forever. Help, you click on help. You can submit a ticket to us, and that will then go to our support team, and then we'll get back to you. So use it, try it, let us know your feedback, because to be honest, Landlord Vision grows by the input from our landlords now. And just to show you on our website, if you look at our support page and look at our release notes, you can see here we are rapidly developing Landlord Vision, and it's more and more features are being added all the time. Hannah, just to answer your question there we have users who've got 200 plus tenancies that they're managing in Landlord Vision. So if somebody has more than 50 tenancies, all they would do is at the point of signing up to this, they would basically choose additional packs of 50 tenancies. So they could have 50, 100, 150, 200. We have 250 plus. One customer's got 250 plus tenancies that they're managing in Landlord Vision at the moment, and it's totally scalable. There's no restriction as to how many tenancies you can manage or whatsoever. Okay, right. I'm going to end this call now. Okay, otherwise the questions will keep on coming, and we could be here all day. But use the software and come back to us with your questions, and of course comments as well, to help us make Landlord Vision a better product. So thank you for your time, and thanks and bye.